this piece, I want to talk about day one refinancing. The first thing I want to say is it doesn't mean literally day one after you pick the keys up to the house. But what I do refer to is that first 6 months period, because there is this general myth that's out there that goes like this: that if you buy a property, let's say at discount, let's say you bought it for cash, let's say you bought it on bridging finance, and you want to add some value to it and get the value back out, because you've done some renovations, refurbishment to it, or as I say, you've just bought it for cash for speed, and now you want to pull that money back out. But there's got this general rule that says that you can't do it for 6 months, and so I'm not necessarily want to explode that myth, because I covered this off back in June of this year in a lot of detail. So I'm not going to go over it in the same detail. So first of all, if this is something that you are looking to do in 2025, i.e. refinance a property that you bought and it's within 6 months, then please go onto YouTube, write this down, go onto YouTube, go onto the Mortgage Home channel. When you're on the Mortgage Home YouTube channel, there's some tabs across the top. The middle tab says the word video. Click on that tab and you'll see a little search bar. If you type in there day one, then it'll bring up a few videos. One of them is the video I did back in June covering this topic. So please go back to that to look at in some detail. Now, the three exceptions to this general rule is that you can't refinance with it 6 months are that there is a bunch of lenders that say we'll allow you to refinance in 6 months if you still want to use the original purchase price. So you haven't really done an uplift in the valuation. You haven't done any refurb work. You're not desperate to pull that extra equity or added value out. You bought it for 100,000. You paid cash perhaps for whatever reason, and now you just want to pull out 75%, say, of that £100,000. So there are lenders out there that'll be happy to do that within the 6 months on day one, or as soon as you're able to submit that application. There are also lenders out there that say, well, if you can demonstrate you've done some refurbishment work, you've done some significant meaty renovations, not cosmetic work, but more substantial, then show us proof of that, and we'll add that to the value of the property. So if you bought it for 100 grand, you've done 20 grand's worth of work, we'll say it's worth 120, even though you might think, well, it's worth 150. If you're happy with that 120,000 figure, then there's lenders that will work on that basis. The real difficulty is in the third scenario, where you want to use the new uplifted valuation. So you bought it for 100k, you've done some work, or you just managed to get an amazing discount, and all day long that property is worth 150,000, and you want to get 75% of 150,000 out as soon as you can. That's the utopia. That's what many landlords are aiming for, and that's the most challenging one to do. But there always has been a very small number of lenders that have been happy to consider that. But we've now just got a new lender added to that party. So Aldermore, a lot of you will know Aldermore. Maybe you've heard the name. Maybe you've got Aldermore mortgages. Well, they amazingly have just relaxed their policy in this situation. So they've now said in the last week that they will consider mortgages within the 6 months based on the complete uplifted market value, and endeavour to give you 75% of that. So I'm really delighted to share that, when lenders change policies, sometimes they're tightening policies up, but Aldermore, hats off to you guys for this, because it's something that I think a lot of us landlords will want to take advantage of. So if you're looking to buy a property anytime now or early next year and will want to refinance within 6 months, there are lots of options out there, but you need to get your ducks lined up. So please, the takeaway message is book your appointment in now as you're buying that property, so that we as brokers can help you to refinance that within the 6 months, hopefully close to day one, so you can pull that equity out and move on to that next project.